I remember a transparent-looking woman that had these wings on her and was just walking past. And I guess another thing that I would bring up about this is like I wouldn't describe her as like an angel type figure. She didn't seem angelic. I've heard a lot of things which I do believe about the enemy masquerading as an angel of light, or demons masquerading as angels of light. So I mean that's possible. What could have been going on there? But again, this detail of this figure that I saw walk past me was just another thing that I saw that I wanted to make sure was clearly described. At this point, I was just again seeing other people go around me, and I walked up to the stage area, and there's these different musicians. They were starting to play, they were preparing, and I thought it was unusual because there's like a guitarist, drums, and all these different things. But every single person was on a different, like really small stage. It wasn't like one single big stage. It was all individual stages, maybe 3 feet by 3 feet, and they were just all in their own little stands. It looked like. So I'm not sure if there's a significance there, and I do think in terms of dream interpretation, I think that it may or may not be only a Bible thing, because there's a couple times in Bible throughout the Bible where there's dream interpretation. It's quite possible. I mean, that may still be a thing today for different types of interpretation, that different gifts that God has given to people. So if anyone out there, if there's any unusual details that I'm saying here, if you may know what they are, I mean, I'm all ears for what they could be referencing, or if there could be some metaphorical parallel throughout Scripture. There were some I did pick up on, but not all of them. So there was that. And then I remember walking over to what was like the lead musician, or the person who was in control of everything that was going on. But there was no instrument. It looked like a singer person, but there was no instrument. And I remember I went up and said, wait, so what are you going to play? And so that was the question that I asked this person. And he pulled out, so again, a strange thing, but this person pulled out an air horn. And I asked, wait, what? Like I was confused. Wait, what is this? And then the guy said, "Just watch." And that's the words I remember. Said, "Just watch." And I'll explain more about the air horn in a little bit and what that could be symbolizing. So after a short interaction with this person, I stepped back and they were like preparing, and then they started to play the music. And the thing that was, but I remember I had very low expectations. I wasn't I knew I wasn't gonna be liking whatever was gonna be played. And the moment they started playing, I was like blown away. I couldn't hear, I couldn't imagine, even in Earth, like even make any parallel to how incredible it was what I was hearing. It was amazing. So it was like heavy metal music that was getting played, but the way that I was experiencing it would be like if you were going to a fancy concert to see like classical or opera or something like that. And so I was hearing all this music getting played, and then a couple moments later, I see this lead musician. He like pulls out this air horn, and then presses it. In the moment it was pressed, I heard like it's very air horns are not pleasant. They're loud, they're annoying, but they serve their purpose whenever they're used for emergencies or whatever. And the moment it was pressed, I could hear that unpleasant sound for a split second. But right when that happened, all of the music that was getting played just became like epic, like in ways I could never describe. No music festival, nothing like that could ever describe what I heard, any music production. The only parallel that I can kind of imagine what this sounded like is whenever there's like a lot of reverberation that's added to music production to make music sound more full. Now, all the music producers out there that may see this, don't come after me because I don't know all the ins and outs, but that would be the way that I would describe what with what I heard. Because the reason I said it, because I've heard all these different things about reverb or too much reverb, but that's a whole nother discussion. So that's what I heard, and it just radiated through like everything that I was experiencing in this dream. And I do think that it's possible, because in this knowing, in this experience, I could tell that even though there were some of these people were smiling before, I wouldn't say that I would say that these were like good people. And I don't want to like overgeneralize, but that's kind of like how I felt. But they were just living life, just doing whatever they wanted. They were living life, and they were having a good time, just doing music or whatever the case may be. And the only symbolism I can think of for the air horn is I've seen a few things like throughout the Bible and some different analysis that people have done is that Satan likes to pervert the things of God and make a mockery of God. And so they talk about these points in the Bible, and the trumpets blare, and the trumpets are played. And I felt that there was this parallel of when this air horn was blown was like Satan making fun of God. But there was still this like experience of like when I was like how awesome it was to just be there and experience the music. And I think I'll elaborate on this a little bit more there, but it felt like it was something to kind of just keep people focused like on the present there on earth, but not other things. But that was sort of my takeaway. And someone else, again, if someone else has any other ideas what this air horn could be, if there was any symbolism to it, my takeaway was that it was a mockery of the trumpets that are going to be played. So that's pretty much the first part of the video, and for everyone that's made it this far, I really appreciate it. And we're going to be going into the next part, which is where I could see, and I knew what was I could see it again the whole time, but I knew what was happening in the second half of the dream. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to hit everyone with a prayer at the end of this too, because I'm trying to be more bold and open about what I believe. So we'll get to that point here in a little bit. So. After hearing all the music that was getting played, I had enough. I saw what I needed to see, and it was time to just move on to the next thing. And there was a window on the right side of this concert hall or this little ballroom, and it was starting to be sunset. And I just saw this like amazing, just really pretty light that was coming through the window. And I was like, all right, cool. On to the next thing. And I was like really excited to just go step outside and just see what I was about to see for sunset. And right when I got outside the door, it was like the sunset that was like nothing I'd ever seen before. I was seeing colors I've never seen before, like all this stuff that you're seeing behind me here, and like what anyone sees in sunsets. It was so vivid, and all these colors that were just absolutely indescribable. And just more vivid than I'd ever seen. And there was another odd detail that happened at this point. I'm just reading through the notes here. Yeah, so this was a very clear part of the dream. This like tiny little moment. It was like you have like this whole linear story, but then there was one part that I didn't really know what was going on or why this was said. So I like get outside, I see this whole scenery of what's going on. I'm like blown away, and then I asked like out into the open, and I said, "Wait, where are we?" I didn't know if anyone was going to answer me, but like I just like was like, "Wait, where are we?" And I heard a voice say Nigeria, and I to this day I still can't make much sense of that. My only and also part of it too was because the music I was hearing a moment ago didn't quite seem like it would be coming from West Africa. But I mean, hey, who knows? Again, there's all these different points in dreams, and the only reason I'm saying this is because I think when these dreams and visions do happen, if any detail that you possibly can remember, I think that you need to say absolutely every single thing that you see and hear. So that's an unusual detail. I think that, I mean, it's possible. I've heard a lot about things about some really incredible revival throughout West Africa, with the Holy Spirit doing some incredible things out there. So that could be what it was referring to. But if anyone else out there has any thoughts, please enlighten me, because I'm still trying to make sense of that. So again, unusual detail that I remember, but I know I needed to share it with everyone here. So after hearing that answer, I remember I was looking forward, and then I was like looking at the sky, then I looked forward, and all of a sudden the scene changed immediately to like I was standing on the middle of a highway. It was like an empty highway, and I was standing on this highway just instantly, just changed right away. And I was still looking up at the sunset, and it was like incredible. And I could see some other people like in the distance, like 100 feet away from me, ahead of me, and some people in different groups around me at different distances. And everyone was like looking up, and then a moment later, the sky basically, and the sun was still fairly high in the sky for it being a sunset, and then all of a sudden it went from sunset to dark like instantly, and I remember being like really confused. I was like, that doesn't make sense. It's not how sunsets work. The sun goes down over the horizon, and then it gets dark. And right when the way that I would describe how this looked, I don't know if anyone's seen any of these videos out there of a solar eclipse. And these pop up on my feed every so often where these people, they've been like recording, and it's like daytime, and then the moon is coming in front of the sun, and then all of a sudden as they're filming it, it's completely dark, and